Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Four Good Brothers. I am Stefan, Kev, Freddie J, and Lavelle. And this week we'll be picking up where we left off last week with a little spin on it. So last week we talked about forgiveness, how to forgive, and what forgiveness is. This week we're going to talk about those things that we may find unforgivable. Now, Lavelle told us how godly it was to forgive and speak up. But in my personal opinion, it's something I lay my hat on, is that I'm not God, which means
Rick Ross.
God forgives, I don't. Which means there may be some things that I fall short of. For some of us, forgiveness may be one of those things.
Absolutely. Why are you looking like that?
We just gonna have a real conversation about forgiveness, and at this point, unforgiveness. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna start right here with Lavelle. Lavelle, give me one thing that, as hard as you try, you can deem as unforgivable.
I thought long and hard about this, y'all, because I had a week to think about this stuff. I don't have anything.
That's what I like it.
The only thing is, and this is what I was just taught. There's something called the unforgivable sin, which is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. But outside of that, I don't think there's anything, like I said, personally, that is unforgivable for me.
I like it, and I know there's a demographic of people, church people. Mm-hmm. My wife hates when I use that term. I'm going to use it a lot. Church people who live off of that, thrive off of that, and feel that is the right thing to say. Me personally, on my side, I want to be there, mm-hmm. but I think I'm kind of old school, where old people, kids are off the table. Women I teeter with, mostly because y'all want equal rights, and sometimes it's a part of being equal. I get myself in trouble, lost some sponsorship on that one, but
we're going deep. Let's get there though.
But that is what it is. But then also, the real truth of the matter is, I don't think that you know what's unforgivable until you yourself are in that situation. Because it's fine to say what I will and what I won't do until you're in that situation.
And don't get me wrong, I have been in some of y'all already know. I know Kev know. I have been in a situation where most people, it would be unforgivable. Mm-hmm. Most people, unforgivable of what happened. But I forgave.
But you forget it. Now here's a Lavelle, you might help me, because I don't know which one of these two gentlemen to go to next. I think he's ready.
No, I always commend Lavelle for being the man that he is, and the ability to, because he told me stories about things that I wouldn't have words for people after those circumstances happen. So I'm always someone who gives credit and commends people's. That's what they say in elementary school. Commends people for that have his mentality and that are that deeply rooted in spirituality, where even it's like, forgive y'all. Yeah, it's nothing. It took me some time, but I think I first think that I'm the wrong person to ask this question. That's my first thought. My second thought is like, I'm always someone who looks at the only thing worse than death is betrayal. So I think betrayal on a very general level is unforgivable. And not betrayal in the sense like you have an expectation of someone, they don't meet that expectation. Because if someone doesn't meet an expectation that you have, that's your fault. If you see somebody, know who they are, and they fall short of your expectation, that's not a them thing, that's a you thing. And people that you have a high level expectation will hurt you because your expectation is so high.
Yeah.
When I talk about betrayal and not being able to forgive that, it's someone who is consistent in their behavior until they hit a crisis point and it affects you. So if I know Fred to a flaw, loyalty is important to him. Most of our circle of friends, like, loyalty is important, undying loyalty. If there were a situation where it's like, even if I'm wrong, hey bro, you wrong, but I'm gonna support you. We gonna get through this together. If that doesn't happen, to me, that is a level of betrayal, and I can't rock with you no more, because the person that you've always been isn't who you were because something, whatever happened, and it then in turn affected our dynamic. So I think when we talk about betrayal, not like someone not meeting your expectation, but being consistently who they've been, and then all of a sudden they're not. Because what's unforgivable for me falls under a lot of different like categories, and I think that, again, forgiveness is for you; it's not for the other person. But it's also, if someone has done something to you, you're definitely not going to forget it. And if I feel that deep rooted in my core that I'm not going to forgive you either, it's like you don't exist to me.
That's deep. We're gonna come back to Kev, because I got questions.
Okay.
Fred.
I did what Kevin said. Man.
So you going with betrayal as well?
Yeah. I think there's again, he said it, I mean, our circle of friends, not that, Stefan is the newest to that, that crew of people, but, excuse me. Uh-huh. Yeah, I was in there, yeah.
Might have lost something on that.
Yeah, but no, I think in our circle of friends, that's just the way we all built. It's a level of loyalty. Like I said, LaBelle is in their circle, but LaBelle, LaBelle's just different. That's the only way I can describe it. LaBelle's just he's in that what's the word, Kev? He's in that circle of friends, but he's just that one inside of that circle that's totally not in a lot of ways, but in certain areas he's polar opposite of the rest of us, but it fits though. You know what I mean? Because you're able to listen to him and then okay, I get that perspective, But for me, man, I just think I'm just built that way, man. Loyalty is it. Like Kev said, if somebody was to, Fred is wrong. It's cool. Like, I want my friends to tell me that I'm wrong.
Because your friends should keep you accountable.
You got to keep me accountable. But my thing is don't turn away from me and me being wrong. Like, stay by me. See, don't hold my hand, but see me do it though. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, it's kind of like my grandfather, my papa would tell me when I was growing up. He was like, if you wrong, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. I'm gonna chastise you for it, but I'm not gonna let everybody else do it because they may not do it in a constructive way or in a loving way. They're doing it to hurt me. Mm-hmm. So he was like, no, I'm gonna bust your butt. You know what I'm saying? Because you are wrong, and I'm not gonna let everybody else do it. I'm gonna let them know, well, this is my grandson. I'll take care of this. And I think that's a level of loyalty that most people don't have. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's not being loyal is like the most unforgivable thing for me. But again,
And if people are intentionally not being loyal,
yeah,
like if you intentionally like, I'm gonna do this to Fred to try to hurt Fred, because I know a lot of people like, oh, no one ever does anything intentionally to like that's crap.
but okay, prime
Because
example.
I honestly think there's people who, if there is treasure in the woods, there's some people that go into the woods on an adventure to seek out the treasure. There's some people, they don't care about the treasure, they just want to burn the woods down.
Mm-hmm. Prime example. Kev know this story. I think I shared it with you before. Bill, if I heard it. So I ain't saying no names. So Miranda don't kill me. This cat. I didn't realize that I had grew up with this guy. Like, you know how you cool with people through the years, and you coming up, but you as you get older, you don't really remember. I'm like, man, where do I know this guy from? Go down the line, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Realize I know him. This dude is in my wedding. Present day, this dude has told people, nah, that's my brother, man. I love Fred. I love him. You know what I'm saying? I support him. Blah, blah, blah. This is that and the third. The worst thing he ever did. I ain't gonna say the worst thing, but I knew at that point that I kept him close, but I kept him close because I needed to watch him. It was like, I'm ready to get married. And he says to me, man, now that you got her, I could take my player card out the deck. So when I heard it, I said, trying to watch my words. I thought, did he say it? So I went and told my ex, and she was like, what? You know? So in my brain, I'm keeping you around. You cool to a point, like, cause I was trying to, like the Bills, like I'm trying to be, all right, man, you giving me your truth, right? But it was like he was too aggressive. Like, Cam know who this person is. You know,
Yeah, that would have been the last time we talked.
Yeah, so like, and then noticeably, man, like everybody in my crew, like the squad, whether it's, you know, I can say those names, they ain't gonna care. Like, you know, Vernon, Bill, Project, you know what I'm saying? Like, people like that, Stan, like when they met this dude, they was like, and I didn't even tell them the story. They just felt him like, nah, bro, we don't rock with him. We don't fool with him. Something wrong with this guy. So to me, it was just like, the loyalty, like, where does it lie? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I got a
Yeah,
question.
that's a good question.
I got a question.
Where does the loyalty lie? Yeah.
It's almost in those lines. When does someone cross over into the threshold of loyalty, where you feel like you got loyalty towards them, and when they can betray you? For certain people, I just know if you did something that you may deem as betrayal. I mean, I don't really know. I'm new to the circle. Right now, I don't think Kev or Lavelle could betray me at this point, because I'm one of them people, we gotta go through something almost traumatic together for everything that we put out there. Now, not saying I'd be like, dang, I wouldn't think that he would have done this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's levels to it, and it's almost like where you have to explain to preteens and teens and some young adults the difference between friends and acquaintances.
So for me, the answer to that, I'm a person who tags people. Like, once I get a particular vibe from you, I'm like, okay, I can listen to it. Like, well, we call that discernment. You know what I mean? So, like when I met you through my ex, right, and your wife. When I first came to Chosen, when I came to the church, I was just singing with Jay one time, right? No lie, and I'm trying to, so people understand out here who are watching. You understand how I think. When I came into Chosen and I see Pastor Maya, right? Naturally, as a man, I say, "Oh, this is a nice looking woman. Oh, she the pastor." Because I don't know who you are at the time. I don't know where you are. But I'm like, I'm smart enough to know as a man of God, first and foremost, right? And being in church, I'm like, this woman's a pastor. Her husband's not far away. He can't be some dude that's at the crib, right?
Yeah.
Now, you see what I'm saying? So at the same time, I got this little thing with my ex where, you know what I'm saying, we will always be cool. We will always be close to the point where people look at it weird, like, well, why are they that? I can't even explain it. It's irritating to me too, right? But, so I'm here with her, helping her minister in song, right? So in all honesty, on a New Year's service, I'm looking at her like, you know what I'm saying? She look nice, she's singing. Those are things that excite me in general, right? But when I see Pastor Mike, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I automatically do this as a real man. She up there preaching. I don't look in this woman's face at one point in time during service. To the point where I came back another time, she even told me, she's like, Freddie J, I ain't even think you like me as a person. She like, you ain't speaking. In my brain, I said, until I got to meet him and knew who he was, I was like, you'll never catch me. Nah. Because I just, in our world of church, I know what that can look like. You know what I'm saying? So when I say loyalty, like when I got cool with Pastor Maya and Stefan, she's not only a pastor, but she's a sister. So you hear me say pastor, sis, and I say bro. So when I say loyalty, like meaning that I lay all the cards on the table for them. Whether his family, they son, like same way I do for you, Kev, Dave, Stan, Vernon, like, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So like the level of loyalty is broken in the sense it's like Bobby Womack song, you know, if you think you're lonely now, wait until the night, girl, right? You know what I'm saying? He said, he talking about, the song was talking about how, in one of the songs he was saying how, I think you really trust me too much. He say when he's gone on his business trip, I can't help watching this woman because I'm losing my grip. I think you really trust me too much. This dude was literally saying like, he my boy, but I'm looking at his wife, man, and I got a thing for her real bad. Like, and when he leave, I'm losing my grip. For me, if I was to do that to him, that's
I think that's an
betrayal.
interesting dynamic because a good way, as surface level as it sounds, a good way to judge someone who you deem as a friend's loyalty, bring a woman that you like around.
Definitely. And I've been through that.
And see how they view her, how they look at her, how they talk about her.
Yeah.
Because I think that, I know the common saying is like, oh, like behind every good man is a good woman. That isn't not true, but also every man's weakness is a woman too. If you want to test the loyalty of a friendship, bring a woman that you like around.
Yeah, I mean, because the reality of it is that I've been through that.
I saw something.
I've been through that in the past. Although I was younger, you know what I'm saying? And for a long time, me and Fat Man, I ain't gonna say his name, me and Fat Man, like I couldn't, he had keys in my car, key to my house. Like my mom is his mom, my granny, his family, my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we go through this point where me and this chick, we was engaged, we broke up. It'd been like a year, right? But in my brain, I'm like, I'm out of town with my group. I get a phone call. Man, fat man, with so and so. Really? And they got married. Really? In my brain, I'm like, were you really confident in what you did? Because the reality of it is that I'm one of your best friends. I wasn't there, and neither was none of our crew. None of our homies was there. You have people around you that you don't even hang with. So for me, it was just like, I would have respected it more if you'd have came to me. Like, it's cool. Like, the thing is that when you don't give a person that opportunity to say something, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I married her. So it's like, any dude that I'm cool with right now, this is just flat out how I look at it. Any dude that I'm cool with right now, if you go out, if you somehow decide, even though she played a part in it, my ex-wife get with you,
Nope.
we got a problem. We got a problem. Don't walk up to me and be like, bro, but see, because at the end of the day, I can look her in the face because I married her. I know her a little bit better than most people do, whether they think they know her. That ain't how it works. I married her. I have a little more knowledge of who she is and how she moves, even though she, you know what I mean, she evolves all the time. There's a connection that I'm always have that ain't nobody else will ever have. So any dude that I'm cool with, and you try to hit on, you post me my boy, you call me bro, even if it's just talking. Yeah, bro. And then all of a sudden, man, I found out you trying to hit on my ex old lady. Like, how does that look?
I also think to that point too, and we may not have time to hit on this. I think men and women view loyalty differently.
Yeah, we gotta get a woman here. I like where you're going.
Because that is a common thing in women's circles. Because all women see, women are super observant. Like a woman can recognize a good man and how their friend is getting treated. So if that relationship severs, they part ways, that good man, who is probably few and far between, and I always say that because there are a lot of good men that don't get the credit they deserve, or they get ran over. That's another topic for another day. They look at that as like it's business. There's a new job opening out there, and I want that. Like even Fred said, you see when I was saying no, like I can't even look at her like that. Like that's not how I view her. No matter what the circumstances.
Yeah. Like a dude to say something to you, be like, so Fabian made a statement to me saying, if your girl come at me, you shouldn't even be mad at me as your brother. You supposed to be mad at her. I'm just naturally doing what I do.
But it's
That don't even make sense to me though.
it do at a younger age because I had that same.
Yeah, but we talking about we in our 40s though.
Right.
And you still saying that.
And that's where I was going with it. Now, at the point in time that we are, I mean, at this table gets to a certain age, that statement is no longer invalid. Younger, Prince Hakeem coming to America to sow your wild oats. That's acceptable. Because part of it is true, because part of it at that mind stage is, because I also believe, and this is one thing I tell people all the time, you my woman because you have certain attributes that any man should be after. That's the only reason why you're right. But nobody, male or female, wants somebody that nobody else wants.
And as much as I respect Pastor as a woman and a woman of God and everything else, I'm still not looking at that woman in that way.
Right.
Boom. And maybe it's just because I respectfully disagree with what you said as far as like being age maturity, and this may be the like proactive, aggressive nature that I have. I remember things that people did to me when I was 14, 15, 16 years old.
No doubt.
But I was
no doubt.
And if I see them now, based on what you did or what you said, I might smash your chick now.
Let me ask you a question because here, when I was that age,
I love it.
when I was that age, here was my motto. If your girl put me in that situation, I was on I'm gonna get her to the house. I'm gonna call you and tell you the door's open. And what transpires from that part is gonna be what it's gonna be. But I'm letting you know because of my eyes. When you look at it from a female perspective, she wasn't any good for you anyway. So it was more of a, because part of it with me was if we was close, it was you disrespecting me by disrespecting my friend and thinking I go with birds and feathers flock together. So
but
you think
you willing to have the conversation? Hey, so and so's here. I'm just letting you know. Even as a younger man, it's like, yo, like I don't know, having the door open. Women will knowingly date someone in your circle and not have a conversation with you.
It goes back to the saying. Many y'all remember saying that
men will hit you with the. I've seen this too many times, and maybe it's just like this particular person know who they are because that's my guy. Like Vernon will have a transparent conversation with, like, yo, so and so hit me up. I was like, yo, you know I'm cool with so and so. Like I want your take on it. If you deep rooted in that person, I'll step back. Because most of the time when you have those type of conversations, dudes are like, nah, bro, it's cool.
That's what I'm saying. It takes another loyal man to do that. Because I mean, we you know, I ain't gonna put the name out there, but I mean, me and Vernon went through that though, right or wrong, kid.
For sure.
Me and Kev sitting at work. And St. Alois was working like, and Kev was like, yeah, man, you know, I talked to her the other day, man. And like, we called her on the phone. He's like, yeah, bro, yeah, man. And she said so and went through all of the, and gave like 2 major descriptions. And when he said it, I was like, really? So I got on the phone. So this is what we doing now. Okay. And at no lie, at that point, I will honestly tell you, that is when I became a dog. I was like, oh, you wronged me. Now I gotta show you who I am. Or not that who I am, but what I'm capable of.
Yeah, because even if it's not who you are, it's more like what you're capable of.
They just said like, because I
You've been holding on to something for like 3 rounds. I'm talking
no, I'm just okay. So, I mean, just using that example, the purpose of you being a dog was just to get back at him.
Yeah.
So okay, so then, and I think dog is a very loose term. I think that if you single and you exploring the dating scene and other things are byproducts
That's what I'm
of the
saying.
dating scene,
What happens
it is what it is.
What happens is this.
Same for women too.
And I know we're on the what's unforgivable. This is why this is layers to it, because for me, I believe how men and women view things is a little bit is always different. So for me, if I'm dealing with you, right? So let's call a spade. We getting it in. This is at the third. 9 times out of 10, I'm just being honest with you. Fred can't concentrate to deal with another female. My attention span is not that long. First and foremost, it's just not. It's not that long.
And that's a lot of work in most.
So
of it.
let me.
So if a female says to me, I don't want to be in a relationship, like, but you telling me you don't want me to deal with nobody else. It's just me and you, like we just dealing with each other, right? But we not in a relationship. It's 2 things. It's 2 ways you can look at that in hindsight now. It's like she don't want to be in a relationship, but for me it was like you don't want me to be out here dealing with nobody else. But you don't want to do what you want to do. But you was feeding me one thing based on my background being in church. Yeah.
So let me.
So then when Vern shows up in the picture, one of my good friends. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know he was your friend. It don't matter. What you said was we was right here. And if we was gonna deal with other people, we should communicate that, right? So it's like
And that didn't get communicated.
that didn't get communicated, and then it turned out to be my boy.
But
And
then, But then
It gets deeper, but I ain't gonna go in there because then people would know what I'm talking about.
that's all right. But then, so my question is for y'all is okay. I understand what y'all are saying, but it takes two to tango. So it's unforgivable towards the homeboy, but you was also in a relationship with this woman too.
No,
So
it
not.
goes both ways. I'm just simply saying in the sense of that's why I said it when Kev said it's levels. Like I agree with you. It's unforgivable on both ends. But what I'm saying is that there's an expectation for me. There's an expectation. You're my brother. That's my brother. That's right. So at the end of the day, we've heard it, bros before hoes. We've heard it, right or wrong, right? We love the Lord. Yeah, that's friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm never gonna look at Pastor Maya Miller no other way than as a sister.
Right.
I've lived with Kev. I ain't gonna get into all that. But no female has Kev ever had around me have I looked at other than that was bro's female, his girl he dealing with at the time. It's the same way with you.
Yeah.
This is how I'm built. Like it ain't so my expectation that every man that I'm cool with, you better come the same way or I can't rock with you.
But
so I gotta knock you out. One of the two. It's gotta happen.
So even if you do knock him out, you still can't forgive him?
No.
And move on?
Not gonna move on, but it's done. Like see, I think that's the thing though, because the forgiveness thing is really, like I said, I understand this forgiveness is for us, not them, right? But for me, it's like once I write you off, it's there. Like it's what I done moved on.
So Fred gave you the surface level. It's not necessarily about the action. We know that women for men is a huge weakness. If you succumb to that weakness, and you succumb to that at the expense of somebody that you call a friend, that means you would do anything to me.
I don't disagree.
I think that's the betrayal part.
Right.
It's not necessarily the action.
Yeah.
It's the deepness to it.
Let me tell you something.
It's the deepness to it.
You can't mess around with a man's pocket, his butthole, his food, and his family. Period. And then, I mean, as a man, what do we really? What is outside of spiritual things, but in a natural sense, what do we stand on? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm able, and I'm only saying that because me and Kev, the two in the squad that four good brothers who ain't married. So, Neville or Stefan going through a hard time, right? As a brother, as a real friend, I'm gonna tell you, Ninja, you can stay in my crib tonight. You gotta go home tomorrow. Nobody told me that. Not nothing against Kev. Cause when I went through my stuff, Kev was like, "You sure?" Like, I'm like, "Bro, I want to get out of here. I gotta go. I was frustrated. I was crying. I was emotional. Like, I gotta get out of here because she don't want me. I gotta get out of here. It's rejection. I ain't liking it. You sure? When I pull out, we in the car. This is what Kev's words are. When I pull off, I will not turn around, bro. When you get out to the west side with me, you ain't going back. Like, this is it." Then what he did is, as a friend and a brother, he went to her on his own, not to plead my case. He ain't do none of that. He went to get understanding so it wasn't just coming directly from his brother's mouth. Let me go over here and go talk to her too, because my bro may be lying to me, and then I gotta come back to the apartment, and then me and him gotta have a conversation. No, you lied to me. This is what she said, right? That's loyalty. Right? So what I'm saying is, if y'all going through a situation, right, and you know, as your friend, as your brother, y'all going through something with y'all wife and y'all family, so that means your wife and your children are my family, right? I should have the ability to be able to talk to your wife too as my sister, be like, "Hey, what's going on?" But if I'm sitting here like with another motive, because you down the road at the hotel staying there, right? And I know what you doing. Like, say you slipping, right? But then I'm gonna go down here and she alone. Like that whole concept of these dudes out here perking like, yeah, man, you know, it just happened, bro. Like, man, come on, bro.
Nah.
Like, come on,
It didn't just happen,
bro.
so somebody
You
that's your
know
friend
about it,
that you've been with that whole
Yeah,
time. You've been looking.
You've been looking at her the whole time.
Oh man, so is he.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, man. You can't give me that. Like, you cannot give me that. That's unforgivable to me. And at the end of the day, if I want to say, okay, I forgave him, I really didn't. Because at the end of the day, once I cut you off, I'm good. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing bad to happen to you. Like the dude that I talked about in the beginning. I don't want nothing bad to happen to that dude. But if he was on fire, I wouldn't piss on him. That's facts. Like, out of sight, out of mind, bro. Because once I dismiss you, you're never in my circle again anyway. Because I know he ain't gonna never. It's only one dude that's in the circle that he cool with. And he only cool with that person because that person out of the circle is so passive that he just gonna deal with it. That's it. So it's like that's what I'm saying. It's more spiritual at this point because it's like, well, Fred, you know, how did you get over? I can't even tell you if I'm ever gonna get to that point. Cause I just don't like this dude, man. And then present day, he's still doing the same stuff. Like, he's still doing the same stuff. Going after my ex, you know what I'm saying? She cool with it.
But I guess the Lavelle's, I'm trying to piggyback and think about Lavelle's question.
Lavelle, you praying about it? Lord, please for forgiveness in the hearts of Cam and friends.
No, I'm not. Go ahead.
The question is almost twofold. I'm gonna follow the both of y'all. So, if you've already kicked this person out the circle, so they're not coming in here, they're not in here, you're not really dealing with them. The forgiveness may be the fact that I didn't put hands on you. Realistically, you know, is that the forgiveness? Then it goes to the letting go point where it doesn't get you as riled up.
I honestly would say, I don't know what kid would say. This is what I don't know. I would say personally, I respect you enough not to put my hands on you. That's weird. To me, that's a weird thing. But I was like in all honesty, I really hate you. I do. Like, I really like to just. I really just like to finally have it out because you know you've been walking around. You know you've been talking for a long time, my guy, and I'm just like, you really think?
But see, that's the point of healing, though. That's the
What,
piece of
smashing him up?
No, what you just said, though, like you really would want to know, like everything, get everything on the table.
No. I don't want to know everything. No, I'm saying I really just want to like punch you in the face. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying.
It's part of his
Some of that.
Like, but because I respect you enough, I'm just like this. Like you said, that's the Lord. Like, you know what I'm saying? Here you go. I really want to. It's cool, bro. We done, and I'm off. Right? I just move away, and it's good. But watch this. Ain't nobody in my circle dealing with you.
Some of that, and we'll get to what I believe, it's male. There's toxicity.
Male toxic. Why can't we say it
I
today?
don't know why we can't say it today.
Male toxicity.
Yeah, because realistically, a lot of times what Tom Williams would tell you, even coming up as younger, in the environment we came up in, hard to the body, give me 30 seconds. All of that stuff goes into getting that grudge and getting that adrenaline out.
Mm-hmm.
But then respecting each other enough to kind of be able to walk away and be cool about it. I think that most of us were brought up in that. Some of my best friends, the first time we had interactions as adolescents, it was we either fought or we came close to fighting or we didn't think we liked each other. And it evolved into that. The second part of the question I had for Lavelle, I'm going to try to articulate something.
Hold on, you about to get the Lavelle?
Mm-hmm.
I got two parts.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
Here was my question.
All right.
Earlier, Lavelle was saying where he was basically going, where are you laying blame? Where are you laying blame with your boy, but not with if you care that much, in my opinion, which should have been your woman at the time. Where does that pendulum swing to determine who gets more blame. Because in some situations, the female gets more blame because, and I'm just because you threw the name out there, your boy Project. Your boy Project tried to holler at my wife, and she succumbed to however he was throwing down. So my issue was with her. I don't know him. He don't owe me nothing. To anybody who,
If it's somebody that I know though, they yeah.
where would know? Know in passing, know from the neighborhood, know from work. And that's where I was going with friend, acquaintance, work friend.
Mm.
Where does that lie at? Because I get some people that I know, the cats that I go to the barbershop with, I'm usually on the streets. It's probably 1 or 2 times that I'm in the barbershop depending on what's going on. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm.
Just the way my schedule was set up.
Mm.
So it's a nice handful of people who are on that schedule. The barbers in the shop that I go to, they got clientele, specific people you want.
Yeah.
So we all got a certain rapport in there. But if one of them cats tried to smash my wife, or a girl, if I wasn't married, a girl who I was really rocking with, I'm not holding it against them. I'm holding it against her because y'all don't owe me nothing.
We talking about levels of relationship though.
Yes.
So if I call you bro or you my friend, like I mean it. I don't throw those terms around. Like I wouldn't like any woman that my friends or my bros have dealt with on a serious level, I don't even look at them in that way. Now, if it's like somebody that's like an associate of an associate, like I've seen you in passing, and you try to talk to somebody that I'm dealing with or whatever the case is, it's like, oh, okay. Like, but if you somebody that's like I consider like a friend, then that is completely different.
Is okay free game?
Oh, okay, it's like it goes back to what you said. Like you don't have that deep level of relationship with me.
Yeah.
So that's not something that you had to like have a conversation with me about. It may have been something in passing that the person that I'm friends with that you know was like, oh yeah, like Kev used to like they used to rock hard. Like I'm gonna give him a heads up, let him know that that's happening.
So wait a minute. So then, my question would be on that. So how you said, all right. So say Pat went it's your wife, right? You don't know Pat though, right? So you said you wouldn't be your issue ain't with him, it would be with her, respectfully so, right? Now,
Even with the cat I see in the barbershop for an hour and a half every week.
Right.
So
But I'm saying so now let's flip that though. It's me, and I go with Pat and Maya. Where's your thought process? I mean, of course you upset with her because it's your wife, right? But is it more on me than it's her?
If it's probably more on you, as long as she don't. I give her the right to either shut it down wholeheartedly herself, and maybe tell me to shut it down.
Now, I'm not against none of that. What you said. Where I would say is for me, it is. When Bill asked that question, I'm upset. So let's do my ex, do Jay. With Jay, I would be upset with her, right? But my thing is that she, in my opinion, she's the weaker vessel. A man is built, in my opinion, we built differently than women. It ain't about her giving in to his passes or none of that. You know what I mean? It ain't none of that. It's just as a man, we built different. Like we always talking about how men ain't in the church or they ain't doing this, we ain't leading this, we ain't leading it, we ain't taking care of kids, doing this. So when I draw the line in that sense, I draw the line for every situation as it pertains to men and women. It's a hard boom. Here we go. I can be upset with you. I can deal with that. But for you as a man though, like if you supposed to be my boy, like Kev know my mom, my granny, like my house, like something going on with my family. Kev, I'm out of town. I expect Kev to take care of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of my, if something go down and I can't get to him and you can get there and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean when we talking levels of friendship.
Your point, and I would have to think about it because, like I said before, we got a relationship, but I part of me expect y'all to look at my wife. It's part of that bravado. It's part of it is.
You look confused. I know what he's saying.
Yes.
It's like that. If no one's not looking at my wife,
but not coveting though. That's what he's saying.
No, I see what you're saying.
He's saying like when my wife walks in the room, I expect everybody to be like, oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Like, I do the same thing, but I'm talking about Pastor Maya walks in church, you met her, and then you came to lead praise and worship on Sunday, right? And if no lie, if Lavelle was my boy, straight up, he was my bro, and I'm sitting in the back in the chair like this, Stefan at the camera, right? And if I got any kind of odd feeling that Lavelle was doing this during service, I'd have dove in on it.
yeah.
No, in the middle of service, no lie. So the friendship is over. I would have popped off at it. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, that's not what we do. We don't get down like that.
It's a bad representation.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel too. It's a bad representation on me. When if I bring you into a circle, almost like what you said, and you do something that's completely just off, completely out of left field, I may spare you the embarrassment in front of.
You better than me, because I'll tell you now, Cam Harris is not.
Over the corner, man, I might lose it. Because then I'm the type of person where then I gotta go back.
I'm gonna embarrass you right there and for a long period of time.
I gotta go back and apologize.
That whole year.
I gotta go back
deer season. Where are we hunting? Well, that's when we hunting. Last week, we had a whole season.
But that's a hard boundary to kind of take because it's like everybody wants that.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants you chasing after the prize, even though they say it's the apple of my eye. It might have been an orange or the grapefruit of somebody else's, but you know, it was there. And it's that hunter in most men. I got to hunt. I got to go after.
Yeah, but there's like
it's a line.
Even though it's a line, like
man, I just can't do it, bro. I ain't
like,
out, man.
Cause
you can't listen. I don't care. Listen, I want a nice steak, cooked right, with mushroom.
medium rare for me.
Meat that right. You know what I'm saying? All the fixings.
Crab on top.
But listen, man. I don't want what's on your plate, man. Even if it, I don't want to know what it tastes like, what it smells like. It like all steak ain't the same steak when it's on my boy, when it's on my brother's plate. Like that's at his crib. Like that meal that he have and his wife is not mine. Like that is off limits. I don't know what it smells like. I'll be like, man, you know what, bro? That's a nice plate you getting served up there. Yep, that's it. Move on. Let me go find my plate. And then I'll be like this, hey, bro, look at my plate.
Yes, yes.
So let me ask you this question, because I've been like this since I was younger. My boys say, is that a turn off for you? I could never knowingly go behind one of my
Is it a
friends.
turn off for you for the woman like that?
For me, period.
I know
If
one of my boys is already.
Yeah.
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 Because you know, some people just don't care. Some they just
Some of those people that don't care are women. We know when you get at, hey, like, what's up? Like, you know, what's up with you?
But see,
Like, you good?
hold on, because
This is getting weird. What do you want?
But see, Lavelle, what you said, he was like, yeah, but men too. See, that's the thing, though, man.
Men do it differently.
We splitting it up, but this is reality. If as your brother, as your boy, right, I go after your wife, right? Y'all split up, divorce everything, right? And then I go after her. I don't understand why we splitting it up. Because the reality of it is, like you said earlier, it takes two to tango, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means it wasn't just me. It was like Kev said, it was her too.
Yeah, because both of y'all.
It wasn't-
Absolutely.
So you gonna cuss both of us out, right? So you forgave me though.
Yeah, but no. See, now here's the thing. It's
Well,
still,
no, clear it up. 'Cause I want
watch this. It still takes time to forgive. Okay.
see thank you. That's what I'm waiting on. Because LaVille did not say that in the beginning, y'all.
I said it earlier last week. It takes time to heal. It takes time to
You said
heal.
last week. We talk about
What I'm
today.
saying, no, but today. So if that was to ever happen, heck yeah. I would cut both of y'all out in the most holiest way that I can.
This is also how men and women are different because when because men are so like surface level when it comes to stuff like that. Like it's like, oh yeah, like my girl going out of town, whoa, we about to have a good time. Now imagine your woman being with your best friend. Everybody just do it for their mouth a little bit.
You
can't even see that.
It takes time. However, I know for me, I will eventually, if the Lord lets me see it and live, I'm gonna come to a point to where I am going to forgive you. Now, I will never speak to you again. But I promise you, even if I don't tell you, I know I'm gonna come to a point where, you know what, Lord, I'm forgave this man. I'm letting it go. I'm moving on.
So
Because and this is my opinion and what I believe when you forgive someone, you officially move on from it to where if you were ever to see that person or think again, it doesn't fester. Whatever happened, you still might remember, but it doesn't fester. It doesn't get you to a boiling point because I've already forgiven, and I can say God bless you, or I can just look at you and move on. It's not festering on the inside.
This is my question to ask you on that because I need help with that because, like I said, Fat Man, that's my brother. So we way beyond that now. Like we way beyond that. Now me and him don't hang like we used to. You know what I mean? And that's only because I'm like, we just done grew in different ways. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the other dude that I ain't mentioning his name, when he come, if I see him come around, it's like, you know, he wanna like, I'm like,
and you're not there.
I'm like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't.
And then that's what you just said. I mean, this whole conversation, both of y'all are at least at that point of that's unforgivable, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the thing. What was that?
Especially if it ain't no conversation.
If you don't want to, you said it, kids. I thought Stefan brought it up, but you answered. You said, well, if you don't want me to be a victim, then don't be my oppressor.
Mm.
Like that's how I see that. It's like you. Every time you come around, bro, like you know what I mean. You trying to act like this ain't what it is. Like you faking the funk. Like you come on.
Yeah,
man.
without having a conversation.
Yeah, like who's playing?
See, that also goes back to last week. I think people need to be at a maturity point or at a mature level to where if that was ever the case, okay, because also to them, how do they see y'all? Because to the homeboy, I saw him as family, right? But to him, he probably saw me in a whole different way, which is why he did it. He saw me as that acquaintance, right? You know, so I can't necessarily be mad, but also if we had grown together, went through some stuff, and that could be a stupid.
But that's another reason to stay completely away from that.
But and I don't disagree with you. I'm just
like
saying,
if you really know somebody. So if I really know Fred, and knowing that person really knows Fred, and they thought about, you know what, I've been wanting her for a minute. Fred ain't with her no more now. You should know that ain't gonna go over well.
Of course. That's the maturity level. Like for both people. I'm just saying, I'm at the point, and God forbid, if that was to ever happen with one of y'all, or y'all did something like that.
No, you gotta worry about it.
I know. But what I'm saying, it was like y'all or my best friend in California, like I know it would hurt the deep y'all, the deep. I can't even say everything because that's just how deep it would hurt. But I am at a point in my life where I am not going to allow things to fester for an extended period of time. Because, watch this, because it goes back to what we said last week. They sleeping at night perfectly. I'm the one that's
Maybe
constantly thinking about this,
you
having anxiety.
you know what
XYZ.
you know what's not
Hey, Fastman, I'm going to talk about it because we brought a subject up.
No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
just-
talk about that.
you know what's not gonna allow them to sleep
I'm just
good at
saying.
night? Me. Cause after that, I'm gonna ruin you until I feel better.
Yeah, I like that. I like
But
that.
for what though? Because two wrongs
For
don't
me.
make a right.
Man, that's a song, bro. Come on, Bill. Come on. Two wrong. It's 85 heartbeat, bro. Yeah, two wrong.
That's a great movie.
Right.
But for what though? Just to say I got back at you?
But you gotta look at it.
I'm not necessarily
yeah,
saying
yeah, I'm not
got back
against
at
it.
you.
I'm right here feeling. Hold on.
I'm not
So
against
it's not about them no reason.
So-
I just want to feel better about it.
So does it really?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I just want to feel better about it.
So is it really making you feel better?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the moment,
Is the time the time and effort spent that you could be, because you are, and I'll take it to a completely different place.
Okay.
Because you are a business person, you are a father, you are so many other things. So the time and effort that it's taking you to, for lack of better terms, hurt somebody who you clearly don't care about anymore, is it really worth it?
It's only worth it because that could be a very simple thing. Sometimes it's just hurtful to people to see that you're doing better without them and they don't get to dictate the life you lead. Some people find themselves as over complimentary to you, like, oh, I complimented them, but if you show them that you can elevate beyond, you win.
Man, listen.
I don't disagree with you.
Y'all know the story that I went through 3.5 years taking care of a child that wasn't mine. The level of what was said about me, I was deadbeat doing it. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. Watch this stuff. I didn't even tell you this. He joined in on that. This is a total point. It was a whole other subject.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He done went to my ex. He done went to her, to the ex-wife, and told her, man, he ain't taking care of his kid. He ain't doing this. I'm like you going that deep that you still trying to get the panties off my ex-wife, that you telling her lies. Like, she coming back telling me. I'm like, dude, like we're like, you done took this so far. Like, God is with you. I could be in jail. Like,
But you see that with them people, with those type of men,
In the name.
you see the motive. Cause we've all been there. It got to the point where, you know, nowadays we say, hey man, if your player ain't that player, man, don't use my name to try to get in there. Just don't do it. But the what he sees, clearly he's making a point to kind of what the bill said. What he sees in your ex-wife, this where he hold her to so high esteem that I got to get that. I'm gonna go through any means necessary
The treasure.
to get to that.
I think it's that, and I think you want to be me, bro.
It can
So-
be that too.
So, I in the words R. Kelly, usually I don't do this, but so
You use R. Kelly.
usually I don't do it.
While he's looking that up, whatever he's looking up, I do want to say this too. Ladies and gents, that does not mean, and this is for me, that does not mean, once again, that I won't cuss you out or that I won't say something to that person. Like, let me make that clear. I'm still gonna say something. Absolutely. I'm not gonna just, oh man, it's whatever, and move on. No. If you've done me wrong, I'm still going to say something to you because I think that needs to be said. But trust and believe, after that, you'll never see me again.
So one of our best friends, my guy, Vern, Noble Barbershop. He is a master at using social media to get points across. Very similar situation to that. Dating a chick casually. It get back, oh, so and so was talking about you, saying X, Y, and Z.
What college so and so?
Yeah. So he
Another
like,
church bum.
he like, oh, word. So this is the post, and I think it speaks to a lot what Fred was saying. So some of these are random, just high level, like really good takes. But some of them speak specifically to instances like that. So if I don't like it, I change it. I only want what's mine, and I get it every time. I don't reach across lanes. I stay my own. I don't add shit about no other man to get no woman. I don't step on anyone to get a step up. I create what I'm missing. Every time someone talked behind my back, it got back to me. Jealousy is a hell of a drug. I don't address haters. My GPS will never take me there. Your insecurity is none of my business. Like, I know these are simple things. These are really like low-key, kind of profound. And it kind of gives you like insight to people that are like what Fred is describing. Because like my thing is always the why. Why? Why and what do you want? Is it that you really wanted her? Or did you want her because it's something that I had and it's really you idolize me?
Right.
And if that's the case, I think that's something that can be worked through. But the way that you're going about it.
You're not even giving it an opportunity
isn't
for them to work through it. Like, you go through all that. Like, just think about that, though, kid. You go through
And I think that's like, I have tried to I've been talked out of having that conversation when I see this person. I'm like, bro, like, why? Like, I need you to say more about it, because if not, I'm going to get mad. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, cats is on site waiting.
Like just,
Like,
I don't understand.
I'm just throwing it out there, though, Stefan, because, like, that's the only two options. But I'm like, for me, my thing is this. And most people may not know that because, again, we talked early on in earlier pods, right? It's about what I've said about, and we've talked about it, about people being on surface level instead of going below the surface, right? Mm-hmm. Most people may look at Fred and be like, man, Fred gonna turn up. You can't. I'm only turning up because you assuming that you can't talk to me. I ain't no dummy. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't this dude that's just that hot-headed. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to turn up, but listen, I don't want to go to jail. I really don't. I don't want to be in jail for possibly punching you in the face and then you hit the ground and hit your head on something and then you die. Right? Like, I'm smart enough to foresee these situations. You know what I'm saying? Thank the good Lord. That's why I'm not in jail or in the grave right now, because it's just certain things I'm not gonna do with certain things I can foresee happening. I'm like, maybe it'll play out this way, and maybe it'll play out this way. Now in the past, have I jumped out there and done some stupid stuff? Yes, because I was that mad. But watch this. The moment I did it, I had somebody in my ear, whether it was my aunt, my mom, my granny, it was like, yo, he was out of pocket for that. Go, you need to go apologize. I mean, I put hands on the person and literally called him up after I destroyed him. And I'm so sorry, man. You know, God did. And I was so serious about it, too.
God did put
like, yeah, I know God said, touch not my anointing, do my prophet no harm. Like, I literally went at him. This is a preacher. Went at him, told him the truth. Hey, man, but I still had to deal with the consequences. Still had to go to court, right? Proven innocent. That tells you something. But I'm saying though, like people, it's like what Kev says, like you either wanted her that bad, or you still do, or the fact that I have her and it's something about me that you're wanting to be. So my thing is, we can work through any of this, bro, and your betrayal to me. We can work through this if we just had this conversation. But then I realized you're not man enough. So now, because I realize you're not man enough, because you don't have it in you like me to have this conversation, right? What else am I to do? What other option do you leave me with other than to write you off? So then now when I see you, then you go through all of that. And then me and my ex ain't even together no more. I go through another stupid situation that I shouldn't have been in. And you hit up the little shorty, trying to get at her, and then you go to my ex and say, man, he ain't even take care of you. You doing all of that to get with my ex, and she looking at you like, I'm never gonna get down with you like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you doing all of that. So now it's like, okay, this is why it's unforgivable. Because now we done went past this threshold that we could really salvage this stuff, man. Because most people honestly just don't. I don't believe that nobody knows that people don't know how to accept that they flawed and they got flaws. I just do not believe that. Like, there's no way in the world that anybody on the planet can stand in front of me and say, when you take a step back and look at the situation from multiple angles, man, and be like, I can see you okay. I see why you see it that way, even though I didn't see it that way. But if it caused you offense, if it caused you harm, you ain't gotta be no godly person, man. We created in His image. That means I got all these qualities about me already, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit there and just tell me like, I don't see it like. And that's not knocking what you're saying. It's like, you know, the homie, you see it as family, but he just see it like we acquaintances. Okay, all right, cool. That's how you see it. All right, I don't go for that. You done slept in my house. You ate my mother food. You know what I mean? Like no, like. That's not none of that, man. Because in all honesty, and it's not even a black thing or I believe in every culture, man. Everybody has that. When you bring a person into your household, you bring a person into your house, your home. You trust them. Why you think so many people getting played when people commit these crimes? They go in a person's house. They like, well, how did they get in? Like, ain't no broken windows, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? They open the door and let the person in, right? And then they normally just turn, hey, that's so-and-so. They turn it back and they go walking away. And now watch this. That person that you open the door for, they done set you up. And they got the other people that's coming to do the hit on you. There's no way in the world. Like, it's impossible to tell me that.
And this I know this would be my personal wrap up with betrayal. Because that segues into the analogy. I think what is tough about betrayal and why it's so unforgivable for me, and why I feel the way that I feel the way that I feel about it, because if I'm loyal to you and you're someone that I deem a friend or a brother, you come to my house, you breaking bread, whatever the case is. If there is a bar of gold in that house, that gold is ours. You don't have to do anything to betray me to get a piece.
That's simple.
I think that's why it's like, the fact that you could have had something that I deemed that was ours and you trying to go a roundabout way to get it for yourself, that's why I want to see you suffer for a little bit.
I like the segue and I like wrapping it up. I like exactly where you're going, and the real aha moment was the analogy of me letting you in my home. And that's where the betrayal comes back, because something happened before they was allowed in my house. And, most of us got the same type of parents that come home. Who is this when you was young?
Yeah.
Who is this in my house?
Yeah.
Your friend got to get up out of my house until they had that rapport with your parents, and then they was allowed in the house. But most of the time, strangers weren't really allowed in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Or you got told you must really trust this person. Y'all must really be cool for them to be in my house as you got older. So I understand that, and I can see how betrayal, because it seems like most of this episode was about betrayal and how that can be unforgivable from a friendship standpoint. Now, I ain't got a lot of time. We got to wrap this up, but I just can't let the pod go without this one, because Fred sort of hit on it, you sort of hit on it. From a male-female standpoint, relationship standpoint, what is unforgivable?
Okay, so I'm someone who sees micro things as macro things. So things that some people deem as small or trivial, those are things that can make me question somebody's loyalty. So I think loyalty goes a long way. Now, I'm not talking about loyalty in a traditional sense, like you stepping outside the relationship or nothing like that. Because, I mean, honestly, if a woman did it, you probably would never know anyway. Men think we got that figured out. We don't.
No.
We don't. So I'm not talking about loyalty in that traditional sense. Loyalty in I need to know if when things get heavy, that you got my back no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like damn near like lying on the stand in court. He was with me that night, sir. like,
But no, it goes back to the point that where your spouse does not have to testify against you in court.
They don't.
They don't. That's just
They don't.
That's just law. They don't have to get up there and do that. So,
But if they did, but no, I think for me it's those small things that can seem trivial that break a line of trust. Wale said it best. I forget what song it was. Spoil me with your consistency. Continue to be a consistent person. Don't fake it, and then when we get to a certain point in your relationship, you switch it up because now you think you got me. The way you started, be consistent in that. Because if you don't, I take your inconsistency as a breach of trust and loyalty. So spoil me with your consistency.
so when they stop being inconsistent, it's no comeback from that. No forgiveness.
That's marriage, y'all. Go ahead.
Go ahead, LaBelle. Say more about that.
No, I'm just saying that's marriage.
That's
marriage.
yeah.
That's what a true marriage should look like. He said it all. But it's consistent for better, for worse, rich and poor, sickness and in health. That's consistency through it all.
Now watch
And
That's a whole
I
other
think
discussion.
I think we also, when you talk about consistency, I think we also need to have a separate conversation in another pod. Don't have to be. Yeah, sorry y'all. It don't have to be tonight.
It's gonna be part 3 of this.
But about how sex is used as a tool to weaponize and manipulate.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. We can talk about that later. I
Yeah.
promise y'all that.
Yeah,
He ain't lying.
But you know what? I like how you said that though. Now notice, I ain't being funny. Kev's a PK, obviously. Kev is not the church boy that everybody else at the table is.
It's true.
Kev,
I know we know.
Kev know him, got a relationship, believe the Lord, right? We know that.
Calls me by name.
So watch this. You said, for better, for worse, which is for them, right?
Mhm.
Those are the vows, right? Now, let's just imagine. We're talking about the veil with those vows, and then we're comparing it to Kev with those vows, in the sense of what people in the church would deem the veil being church in the church. They would consider Kev to be in the world, right? You notice how a man that the church would consider who has a relationship with God though, PK just don't go to church like that, right? But he goes to support his friends when they doing something, and he goes when he just feel the unction to go, right? They deem him to be a worldly man, but the worldly man is holding on to the principles of God.
So you
What does that say?
you in a whole different.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. I'm only saying that because of what it looks like, right? Of what it looks like. Because for me, piggybacking on what he said, I personally believe that it's all about how it's viewed from a male's perspective and a female's perspective. When you, to your question, I want a Bonnie and Clyde situation. Like, I just need you to hold me down. That don't mean I need you to pay for everything for me. I don't mean I need you to do this, that. I just need to know when it get rough and your family talk about me, what will you say? will you speak up for me, or will you feed me to the wolves?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, for a man, when we talk about the loyalty, that's the respect. That's the respect level, the love. It's all encompassing in one thing. You know what I mean? That's why I say that's when it's unforgivable, because it's like, hey man, like you just let me be out here by myself. But then what happens is, it doesn't happen to me. You know what I mean? It's like, but when the rubber meet the road and stuff get rough, I got a lot of people coming at me and they saying, well, you left her out there like that. I wanted to go home. She wasn't happy. What was I supposed to do? Force myself. No, I'm coming in here. Like, so the unforgivable. Don't get me wrong. I have forgave. I really have.
I mean, you forget though.
Yeah, I ain't forgot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I digress. But yeah.
What me with your consistency?
What's unforgivable? You still after an hour and a half, you still sticking to your guns?
I'm still sticking to my guns. I don't. That's just me.
Don't let these two jokes.
Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with their viewpoint on betrayal, because betrayal is something. I mean, it's a relationship, whether it's a brotherhood, a marriage, your relationship with your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your coworker. There's some relationship
Awesome.
there, and when you betray, or you do something that is disloyal, it shakes people.
And there's levels of betrayal, and betrayal, there's like pain points.
There are pain points. There are pinpoints. There are all of it.
If your wife ever, because she would never, she's like the sweetest person I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like
She
went behind your back, was like, you know what? Like I never really had confidence in LaVelle as a gospel artist. Like I just feel like he could have did something else. Like I can't support that no more. I could see that being a moment for you when you like.
It will floor me, man.
Absolutely.
It will
I'm not disagreeing at all.
Like, let me can I ask this? I'm sorry, I need to ask this. I need to ask this.
And then I promise you I'm gonna close up with my little 2 cents.
I gotta ask this. So, you see in movies, or you've heard in past situations where a woman will say, like the man, he wasn't cheating, right? But he was working, come home, he tired, he really ain't giving her no energy, you know what I'm saying? And she go out with her girls a couple times, and she see a little twinkle from this dude across the room, right? And they go, and all of a sudden it's like, I wouldn't get.
That's how you know
home. Like,
cheating and infidelity isn't a physical thing.
Sustained. That's what I'm saying. So in that situation right there, man. Like, how does a man like deal with that? Like straight up, even when even to that level, like my situation, like, you know what I'm saying? I'll just be honest with you, man. Like we was talking about it, Miranda said it earlier in the meeting, you know what I'm saying? Like being vulnerable. We talking about it on another subject, but I'm like, for me, it was like I wasn't doing these things that most people do that cause their separation and their divorce to come. It's a lot of arguing, and I can be honest and say, you know what I'm saying, at the time I was inconsistent on my job, you know what I mean, not working or this, that, and the third, right? But I wasn't doing none of these things and what I was looking for was for you to just to be there, like to assure me, like you're not gonna walk away from me though, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it's like, then one day you decide, oh, you so mad, you ain't coming home. I was at home for 3 days by myself. I call you, where you at? You ain't picking up the phone. Are you at your mom's house? Nah. Then I drive past your mom's house. The car parked in the garage.
See, that's when love started. That's when love started getting crazy.
So now my brain is like, oh, like this rejection. I know what this feels like, right? You know what I'm saying? But as a man, so then when I say if that was my unforgivable piece right there, right? I get ridiculed, but I didn't even commit those actions. You didn't come home for 2-3 days. You get what I'm saying? Like, you left this door open for me to do whatever I wanted at this point if I'm that ignorant and mad and I didn't do nothing. But typically we've seen in other situations where the woman will be like, well, he wasn't loving me anymore. Or at nighttime, like normally you hold me at night when you're scared. Like normally you hold me at night when you're sleeping. For like 3 weeks straight and you didn't have your arm around me when you went to sleep. I'm like, man, I was asleep. I not know that my arm wasn't on you when you went to sleep. I just don't understand these concepts that women give dudes, and it's like that's their unforgivable for us. It's like, well, you wouldn't hold me anymore. I'm like why?
So
We'll talk about that because Morel, you gave that earlier.
Hold on. I know it's not for you trying to close this out. I know it. I'm sorry. I know it. I'm sorry. This is it. This is for real. And that's when you talk about like things that are unforgivable are cyclical, and it's also perception. In your mind, that's unforgivable because like it's that rejection piece. Like this person's rejecting me.
Right.
On the other side of that, most marriages don't end because of cheating or infidelity. It's either finances. Finances is the number one. The number one reason that marriages end in the United States. Finances. And the other part is people's perception of each other. You're in love with the ideal of somebody and what they can be versus where they're at right now.
Don't take that step if you can't go along that journey with them to get them and to help them to get where you think they can be.
Mm.
We're gonna stop it right there.
we stopping it right there.
That's partnership.
God
You
bless
help.
you. May heaven smile upon you. Okay. I still believe that you can forgive. Okay?
Your White
I
House.
promise you. I think you still can. Let me tell you. I'm finished with this. I love the story when Jesus says, one of y'all gonna betray me.
Mm-hmm.
Out of his 12 closest friends, now we know he had 3 even closer, but his 12 closest friends, one of y'all gonna betray me. He goes up to the man and says, you gonna betray me. Denies it first. And then when he comes outside, he sees the guards. The guards give him the money. And he kisses him on the forehead and says, I'm sorry. Jesus still forgave him. When his closest friend turned him in.
This ain't over.
And he still forgave him.
This ain't over.
I am saying this. Okay?
I am also saying that we are not Jesus.
Thank you, Gil.
See, that's what I knew they were going to say that. Though. I knew they were going to say that.
I'll lay with that.
But here's my argument, okay? We are not Jesus. But all of us have the characteristics, like you just said, of Jesus. So don't think that you can't get there.
He died
To
for
a
my
point.
sins, though.
To where you can forgive, okay?
He died for my sins.
That's all I'm saying is, and that's where some people have to get to that point of that maturity, to look you right in the face and say, I know you did.
But you know what I'm saying? I agree with you because Pastor
God bless y'all.
Pastor Maya preached on that though.
I'm done.
Jesus also had foresight. If I knew that one of my close friends was going to betray me, that betrayal wouldn't come off guard to me.
But don't
prepared.
Don't think that intuition never comes. You know, they always say trust a woman's intuition, trust that gut.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Sometimes that gut feeling.
So
you're right.
So this
30 days later, it comes.
But listen, this is the thing though.
Forgive.
It's the thing though. The intuition of Jesus, he knew, right?
Yeah.
He knew it was going to happen. So look at it this way, because Pastor Maya talked about that, right? He still laid the table out. He gave him the Last Supper and all that, right? So he knew all of that. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, dog, I'm not. Listen, I'm not laying no drink.
Guess who's not eating that night?
No, you not eating, dog.
Judas ain't eating that night. Judas not eating.
Judas gonna get smacked up. Like, bro, like I'm God recreated in the form of man. Let's keep it one.
And that's why we couldn't have that type of power. Because the rest of the
like, come on, man. Turn that. Turn. Like, here you go, LaVille. You look at me, bro. I said, bam. turn up to you. If I smack you right now, you go, Fred. That's cool. You're crazy.
Look,
I got 4 cheeks, and you ain't gonna hit me in one. You sure ain't gonna kick me in the other 2. I will destroy you. It's not happening, bro.
What I am saying is,
You gonna get smacked and you're not eating.
the spiritual
Hungry and
maturity
hurt.
to get to a point
Yeah, I agree with you.
where you can.
We all got room to grow. We can all get there.
So we're all understanding this topic. Can go.
So how do I protect
Hold on,
myself?
Brother, we got to go part 3.
How do I protect myself from getting hurt?
So I like that. How do I protect myself from getting hurt? Part 3. How do I protect myself from getting hurt? The spin I'm going to add to this is we're going to add some female energy. See y'all next week.
Peace out, y'all. God bless you.